Thank you all for being here. Appreciate your coverage of this. This is the most important thing to the House Republicans and the most important thing to the American people. Today, President Biden is going to Brownsville, Texas, to see the crisis at the border. It's disheartening to know that with the way the American people will, look at this and say, okay, so President Trump decides he's going to go down to the border, so 2 or 3 days later, President Biden decides to go down to the border. That is what the American people will take from this. And it's disheartening to know that that is the case from what we've seen with the emphasis that our president has put on this crisis. Given the devastating crisis that has unfolded at our border and seeped into communities, this should not be the president's, it shouldn't be only his second visit to the border. This should have been all over. He should have been all over this the last 3 years. I will now turn the mic over to Representative Beth Van Duyne from Texas.
Thank you very much. We continue to see this Biden administration completely give away our country. Whether or not that's through small things like the SBA programs that we're now having to force through legislation, a bill that I'm very happy is going to be hopefully on the floor for a vote this week, that we can actually have whistleblowers have an ease of way on the SBA's website to talk about the $200 million that we've given away to fraudsters, to people from other countries who are taking advantage of our country, of our bills, of a weak administration. We continue to see this, but nowhere do you see it clearer than what's happening at our border today. You want to talk about giving away our country. From day one, this president had all of the tools on his desk to be able to maintain our secure border. And what did he do from day one? Immediately, he stopped work on the border wall. Immediately, he started directing HMS, instead of actually having Homeland Security do its job, no, they became cab drivers. The border became a bus stop where people could come illegally, get picked up, and be brought to a plane or a bus to be shipped to other places around our country. Mr. President, you're down at the border now for a photo op. Your policies have led to the deaths of hundreds of thousands. Thank you.
Thank you, Beth. Today, as Representative Van Duyne just reminded us, President Biden is heading to the border for what I am confident will be another cleaned up photo op. While Joe Biden is busy making empty promises at our border, the rest of the country is being forced to deal with the consequences of his neglect. At this point, we all know the numbers. There have been 8.7 million illegal crossings nationwide. That doesn't even include the known gotaways since Joe Biden took office. This is what we know of. The president also knows the numbers and still does nothing to protect innocent Americans from this invasion. So now we need to talk about the people. We need to talk about the real-life victims of Biden's border failures. We need to talk about the 2-year-old who was fatally shot earlier this month. We need to talk about the 14-year-old girl in Louisiana who was raped. And we need to talk about Lake and Hope Riley, who went for a run on her college campus and never came home. The alleged perpetrators in each of these attacks, illegal immigrants. These are just a few of the innocent Americans who've been victimized because of Joe Biden's open border policies. I know I've said it before, but enough is enough. I've had enough. Our majority has had enough. The American people have had enough. The question remains, how many innocent people have to suffer for it to be enough for Joe Biden to say it's enough and take action? The time for photo ops is over. The time for action is now. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to our great majority leader, Steve Scalise.
Well, thank you, Whip Emmer. As President Biden goes down to the border today for a photo op, has been aptly pointed out, he has the authority today to fix this problem that he created. And let's go back to his first day in office. Joe Biden, with a pen, undid the policies that President Trump had in place that were working. Remain in Mexico was a negotiated agreement between our two countries. You know, when Joe Biden says, oh, it's hard because, boy, Mexico doesn't want to do it. Mexico didn't want to get into the agreement when President Trump was in office. But President Trump made it abundantly clear to the president of Mexico why it was important to happen. And ultimately, it did happen. And Remain in Mexico stopped a lot of that illegal flow. Ending catch and release was something else President Trump did that worked effectively. Joe Biden reversed that policy on his own. There were no laws passed to do that. And it seemed like he, maybe forgot that he had that legal authority for a while. Speaker Johnson actually pointed it out to the president on multiple occasions that he has the legal authority today to fix this problem. Now, we took our own action in the House. We came together as House Republicans to say we are going to fix this problem and show the country how you can secure the border.